Hi, in this class I'm gonna teach you how to bring your audio files to Blender. To insert audio or sound effects in your scene, just change momentarily the graph editor for the video sequencer. Drag the audio inside and place it at the moment you want in your animation. As you can see, you can put multiple sound effects on different tracks. And remember that generally you want to listen the audio a couple frames after what creates the sound happens in your animation. And if you're doing lip sync, you will surely want the audio to be heard when you drag the mouse through the timeline. So just go to the playback drop down menu and activate the audio scribing box. When you finish, put the graph editor back and done. That's it, see you on the next class. Hi, in this class I'm gonna show you how to set up your scene to start animating. First, create a floor for your scene by going to Add, Mesh, Plane. And if you want, create the walls too. Or you can also buy or download an already created environment. Now organize and create your entire scene, appending all the props and characters that will appear in your animation. To do so, go to File, Append, select the folder where you have the rig, click on it, open the object folder, select everything inside, and click on Append from Library. I recommend that you move each one of them out of the original position before appending the next one to the scene. Otherwise they will stand on top of each other and it would be more difficult to select them. Next, orient the character so that it's aligned with the main direction of the action that it's going to do. Place and orient the main camera. Select the render mode to see how the rendered animation will look like. But before set up the new lights, delete all the current lights of the scene so that they don't interfere with the ones that you are going to create. And don't worry if you have to modify it later, but at least create a provisional lighting. In my case, I will create a light that illuminates the character, and another one that will be strategically placed to create a glitter on the floor, and thus giving the impression that it's wet. But since this light will illuminate areas that I don't want them to be illuminated, I will create a couple of planes to block the light and create a shadow. Next, select all the characters and props that you're going to animate and change to pose mode, set the axis to gimbal mode, open the floating panel and open the picker of the character or characters that you're going to use. Remember to activate this box. Deactivate the third icon on the top right to hide all the controls and thus clean up your scene. If you are going to animate the arms in FK, configure them so that their rotations are independent, so you won't break the animation, blurring the arcs that you would have polished if you make any modifications on the torso when your animation is at an advanced state. But if you are going to animate the arms in IK, configure them so that the position of the hand is independent of the movements of the body. And finally, also configure the head and neck so that the rotations are independent from the torso. Now to bring your reference to Blender, go to Object Mode, and then go to Add, Image, Reference. For now, select any image from your computer, since in this step we cannot select videos. Now change the source option to Movie, and click on the folder above to select your reference video. Furthermore, you have several display options. On frames, you can determine how many frames of your reference will be seen. On start, you can determine the frame of the timeline in which the reference will start playing. And in offset, you can determine from which frame of your reference it will start playing. To finish, we'll place it where we want and activate the third icon to see our reference, but in additional options deactivate everything else so that only the extras are visible. Now adjust the range of frames seen on the timeline so that it fits your reference. And if you are going to create the blocking with constant tangent, go to Edit, Preferences, Animation, and make tangents constant by default. But remember to switch it back to Bezier when you finish blocking. If you want to save the render you create, click on the printer icon in the Properties editor. Down below, click on the folder and choose where you want it to be saved. If you don't do this, it will save it in a temporary folder, and you will only be able to see the latest version of the render that you have created. To finish, minimize the side panel so that you have more space. And remember to save and create new versions periodically to protect your progress. Okay, so now you are ready to start animating.